Ahoy! Welcome to Festival Bubbles of the 62nd Zlín Film Festival, where all the time we welcome some of the most amazing, some of the most notorious guests and stars of this festival, and we have two of them right now with us in the studio. Martin Vandas and Jaroslav Fischer, both representing a animation production company called MAUR Film. And I should tell you guys that normally in the festival bubbles, we only invite festival guests who come here with big delegations or jury members, but you were the exception. And I still wonder why. I think you should explain me why it was so important that we have MAUR Film here with us to talk about their work.
Thank you for the welcome. I'm not sure that we are so VIP. So that may be some mistake in the direction. Mm-hmm. But what it's true that we visited the festival many years. We love it, the Zlín, because it's the wonderful place, wonderful atmosphere, good movies. And also we like it, the Zlín, because they choose sometimes our movies. For example, this year we have in the competition 4 shorts animated movies, plus 1 omnibus about the Mimi and Lisa. So maybe that's the reason why we could be with you, Gert.
You have 4 movies in competition. As far as I remember, it's Mom is Always Right, Paulo's Happiness, Forgive, and Susie in the Garden. The whole world...
It's the Mimi and Lisa as the special for the children.
Yeah, we'll get to Mimi and Lisa later, but for so many people, the last few years have been like terrible. There was no production going on. At MAUR Film, there was a lot of production going on all the time, apparently.
The reasons, there is more reasons. One of them is that we are working with the young talents. That means we're working with the students, which is also opportunity for the students from the University of Tomáš Baťa from Zlín, that they shoot it with us. Plus, we are giving the chance for the young producers. That means, especially the 3 Voices, which was the first edition of our omnibus of short students, or now we have 4 Voices, was produced by the young producers from the FAMU or from the other universities. So that's the reason that I could be rehearsed, only observe how they work.
And you brought one of the young producers with you?
Yes.
I mean, Jaroslav?
Jaroslav is not young producer. He looks still young, but
exactly.
But he is our DOP, and he works also with the students. He works with the Maria Urbankova.
Can you explain your role in the process?
Yes. So I'm DOP, and my life or my cooperation with Martin is like a small adventure, because he has so many crazy ideas. We are working on movies which are done with different techniques. So with oil paintings, with paper animation, with skiing, or with classical puppet animation. So I mean, for me it's adventure, because I have to switch from technique to technique. And what is great that we cooperate with young director, with young artist, and it's the company is more like a small family, you know, which is doing the work very fresh and very.
Honestly, it's not true. It's not small company. It's the big family, because we have a lot of young directors. And I think that I like it to work with them, because they are full of energy, emotion, and dedication. I always choosing the projects based on how much the people are dedicated for their ideas.
And it's no coincidence that you use the word big family, because as far as I understood, the thing that brings all these films together is the personal connection you have with the makers, the way they are like loyal to the studio.
There is 2 things. Firstly, I think that whole the animation community, it's the family, because it's some kind of minority between the filmmakers, because we are less than 4%. And second reason is that, of course, not all the schools, the FAMU is exception because they have more different departments for the DOPs, for the editors, etc. But some other schools, like for example, Plzeň, has only the animation department, and for the directors, it's the chance to work with the professionals, with the professional DOP or sound designer or composer, which helps them to see the process of shooting of their students' movies with the semi-professional parameters. So that's possible to say that for them it's also the chance.
Mm-hmm. All these films here in competition, there's one that I want to mention especially, Susie in the Garden. Susie was at the Berlinale. She was in many festivals already. She's made in a very specific technique and she creates a very special atmosphere. What makes Susie in the Garden so special?
It's the second movie of Lucie Sunkova, and which we did it together. And she chose the topic based on the book for the small children, which is not typical for the shorts. That many short animated films are for the adults or for the pre-adults, and for the small kids, it's still a very small part of the production. And she chose this story because she admired the atmosphere. She liked the magical moments in the topic because the story is very simple, that the girl found the key and go to the garden. But for the young audience, it's not only about the mixture of the fear, mixture of the some jokes in the language, but also in the end, if you watch it carefully, you see that the hole in the wall disappear. Mm-hmm. So this is the last moment which I admire it, and I think that this is the reason why they choose also for a lot of festivals, because it's the magical realism and narrated by the small girl. Means I trust her story, I trust her point of view to the world. She admired, she discovered all the details of the world. She loved the world, she loved her family. And the second reason is maybe in the technique, because it's oil paintings. By the way, we did it with the same technique, the feature film, The Crossing, with the Florence Mier. And Lucie was our main animator for the whole Czech crew. And she knows this technique very well. And she liked it, and she did it her school movies by this technique. And it's a very unique technique. Maybe Jaroslav could explain it, because he was present all the days in the studio.
If you could briefly tell us some more about it, that would be great.
It's quite special technique for DOP. This kind of movie is it's maybe less attractive because it's the DOP is more like a serviceman. Because for me it's important to take care about the colors, reflections, flickering, and so on. But for the artist, it's incredibly difficult because all the animators have to make face by face They have to do drawing after they have to clean, and after they have to do second one, and. For me it's very difficult. I'm almost not able to imagine that they will spend all the time in the studio to do this kind of work, and there is
Martin, I think I should give you here an opportunity. Recently I did an interview with Alena Vandasova, who's also running the studio together with you, and the night we published the interview, she called me, she said, you should mention the Czech Institute, the Czech Film Institute. And it was too late. The interview was online already. But I would like to give you the opportunity now to tell you how important the Czech Film Institute is for the work that you do, or in what way they are involved.
Czech Film Fund I admire that they support because fund was established probably 10 years ago with the special call, firstly for the minorities, for the animation separately, and I like it that the board of fund supported also the students movie, which is exception. It's not typical, and that give us the chance to co-produce or help this kind of movies, bring them to the distribution also. And the second thing is that the Czech Film Fund is dedicated for the long term. That means that they have the vision, and they support it when they decided that they will open the calls for the animation, for example. And for the first years, the producers wasn't able to apply with the enough amount of the quality project. But they still keep it, the money allocated for the animation. That means that we have the long-term vision how to produce.
Yeah.
Actually, now it's a little bit difficult with the feature films because they still try to support it each year, 1 or 2 feature films for the animation. But the budgets of the feature films are increasing because the costs are higher and higher, and it's more and more difficult to secure enough money in the Czech Republic.
I have a last question for you that I ask to all the guests here in the studio. You know that Zlín is capital of shoes. I would like to ask you to show us your shoes and tell something about it. If you have a special connection with these shoes or with shoes in general, you can put them on the table if you want to.
That's great, thank you. Luckily, I have the Zlín shoes. It's the original brand from the established in the 90s, or
I think you should
the new shoes.
Move them a little bit.
I buy them in this Easter in the Brno, because during the Easter was only this shop open, and I admire because it's the handmade shoes, and I admire the color.
Me too.
The red shoes are still great, so I enjoy it, and I take it them without know that you will ask about, but because in the Zlín it's the good choice for the Zlín.
It's the first time that I really envy the shoes of the guests in this program.
Thank you.
What about you?
So Martin is producer and director, so he's much more important than me. So I have obvious shoes. So, but next time I will buy, of course, better shoes from Zlín.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your shoes with us and for sharing all your stories and information about the work of MAUR Film with us. Thank you for the films you brought here to the festival, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay here in Zlín.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice interview, and see you next time.